Well, big up, and welcome to Liberal 12th Man Show. Bring myself a little bit more further center. Since I am solo today, possibly for a little bit at least, we might have Lee joining us hopefully shortly or soon, but if not, it is me on the solo dolo. I am happy to be here, and I am sure you might be intrigued by the title. I see Red for Life. Big up to Red for Life, by the way. I'm going to bring you a little bit of the truth. Big up. Oh, we got Nalante in the house. Be forewarned, you have been all humbled with the presence of the all-knowing and all-enlightened Mr. Nalante, who is one of the best people I can talk to when it comes to stats and eye tests and all that other garbage. He is the man with the plan. Big up, Nalante. How are you doing today?
Yeah, big up to hope you're good, man. Big up to chat. Yeah. So yeah, big up, man. Big up.
Okay. Yeah, because it's good that you're joining me today, because it is certainly going to be an interesting little ride today. I've put together a show that is going to basically talk about some things that myself and even Nalante as well have been somewhat criticized or persecuted over some of our takes or some of our thoughts and ideas. I'm going to also bring up some things that have been happening in the last couple of weeks, first 7 weeks of the Premier League, at least. You know, some stats or some things that you might have missed out on. But I'm going to be honest. I mean, it's funny how, basically, how you even put it? It's funny how, sometimes ideas get laughed at or clipped up or dismissed by fellow content creators, sometimes even our brethren in the chat, and even a few pundits might even take liberties of taking what some of us YouTubers have to say and bringing them to the bigger platforms that they're on as well. What I find empowering, though, is when sometimes something you said maybe days, weeks, months, even years sometimes ago starts to gain a little traction, or all of a sudden you see it as a normal talking point by other people. It's kind of empowering to hear that. There's a different role for a player like, I don't know, Gravenberg for DM, or maybe it's my preseason praise for a player like Dominic Szoboszlai being one of our bosses in the midfield. Whether it's backing the quiet consistency of Cody Gakpo, or maybe offering constructive criticism of Konate, or arguing a different structural angle for our team. This is all the stuff we're going to talk about there. Yes, people rarely give you credit when reality catches up. Amnesia, normally kicks in, and it's all of a sudden they pretend like you never said this or never said that. They'll be quick to sprint to pull you down when you miss. But when you do hit a bullseye, they are quick to not also remember those days. So we're going to talk about this. So tonight I've put together a piece that does three things: informs, challenges, and gives flowers where they're due. Nalante will be getting some flowers in this too, because he's had some takes that I've recognized, some takes that we've shared, and some takes that have been solely his for most part, but have definitely been proven to be right, and some of my own. So Lee might be joining us. I have some of his as well too, but and then even some of JK's as well. But 7 weeks of Premier League football, stats, records, and reflections you might have missed. We're going to show some respect for rivals, something that maybe some rivals might not think that we would do, but I am going to do that. I'm going to give some proper respect to our rivals, recognition for players on other teams who deserve praise, even if they're competing with us for trophies. The 400-yard problem. All right, so that's the big question mark of what it is. It's basically why our progression from the back has dipped and how that's rippling through the team. How our progression from the back, meaning like how we've been a more fluent team when it came to Robbo or Trent or even VVD distributing the ball forward to get our offense started and clicking, and how that's rippled through the team as to our offensive progression. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of insight of my shape lab, which is what I'm calling the shape lab at least. My plan to morph our diamond, our 4-4-2 or my 4-4-2 diamond into a 4-2-4 on the fly, and then certain matchups switch to maybe a 4-2-3-1 to counter oppositions. Bunch in this one. I'm going to give a quick salute to a coach who's achieved something genuinely exceptional. I'm going to also do post-international break power index, what to expect when the league resumes, critical timing for our Liverpool Reds. The Derby preview, a preview of the Derby preview is what I'm going to give you. And then a quick league roundup. So a lot in this episode. Hopefully we can get through all of it before I have to wrap up the episode. And I want to hear your thoughts, of course, on a lot of this stuff. So let's just get right into it. All right, let's just get right into it. So weekend. I guess you could say the weekend in 2 minutes almost. You know, here's a quick pulse. Arsenal have calmly. Oh, it looks like Mate had to drop out for a second, but Arsenal calmly handled West Ham to go top. Estavio stole the show late for Chelsea against us. Newcastle's new number 9 is scoring like it's 1996. City did City things with Haaland scoring again and again and again. Villa's rhythm looks to finally be taking shape. Brighton can't stop scoring, sometimes in the wrong net, but still scoring all the same. United bank another win versus a promoted side. Hey, you can only get the points that are in front of you. We all know that. And Spurs finally broke that bizarre pre-break curse. Bournemouth keep cooking, and Jordan Pickford just joined the 300 club. Now, one stat you missed: each game. Let me bring in JK too. From each game. So let's go fixture by fixture. Okay, this is what we're going to do. So Arsenal 2-0 West Ham. Bukayo Saka hit 100 Premier League goal involvements, 55 goals, 45 assists on his 200th appearance at 24 and 29 days. He's the 7th youngest to do it, and West Ham. That's I guess a Derby defeat for them, number 135. A record won't be really necessarily thought of as being something to write home about. But Saka's quietly pacing a title push, I guess you could say. Did you guys? We'll just go quickly. If you guys want to add your 2 cents in it, did you see the Arsenal West Ham game? Either of you? And we have JK with us as well. Big up, JK.
No, easy, bro. That's something I'd say as
well. Did you guys any thoughts on the Arsenal game, real quick? I'll just quickly.
Yeah, that was pretty easy for them. Yeah, I think I watched a bit of that. Yeah, it was an easy game for them, bro. It weren't like last season when West Ham beat them there 1-0. So we thought, okay, something might happen, but yeah, it was. Yeah. You know who's annoying me out of the Arsenal team is that Moreno guy. Spanish, bro, he's fucking annoying, that guy, man. Oh, his big head.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's annoying. I just like the whole Arsenal squad's annoying. It's like, come on, man. That's why for me, like, that's the mentality I want our players to have. Like, who do these guys think they are? Like Arsenal, come on, man. They're acting like they're Champions League holders for the last 10 years, you know. It's mad. We supporters, Liverpool, are very humble, and the players are as well. Remember when Man City kept on winning league after league? They used to walk around like they were in the mafia, bro.
Yeah. And Liverpool
are proper humble. But I think now's the time on Sunday to pull out that vibe. You know, like, look, we're champions here. We're Liverpool. We need to see a bit
Mhm.
more of that toughness. Yeah, but for me, that Arsenal game against West Ham that was a guaranteed 3 points there.
Well, we had other game, Newcastle 2-0 over Forest. Brentford losing 1-0 to Man City. We had 2-0 Villa over Burnley, 1-1 Wolves Brighton. Man U won 2-0 over Sunderland, 2-1 Spurs over Leeds, 3-2 Bournemouth over Fulham. That actually was a good game, actually. I did watch that game. That was actually a good game. Everton 2, Crystal Palace 1, giving Crystal Palace their first loss. And it was Jordan Pickford's 300th Premier League appearance for Everton. He's only the second English goalkeeper to hit 300 plus games for one club after David Seaman, obviously for 325 appearances for Arsenal. Also, most Premier League appearances of anyone since his debut in 2017. So to all the Evertonians that sometimes tune into this channel, congratulations to your goalkeeper.
I watched that game. Yeah.
Did you?
Celebrated when Grealish scored? I was happy. It's like Palace annoy me as well. So I was sort of like, a nice one. Like at least one, because they were like, oh, Crystal Palace is like controlling Liverpool and this and that. Then everything go and do them. It was funny actually.
Well, I'll give you a stat. I said I was going to get some stats that kind of like maybe some people missed on from week 7. I'll give you a stat for every game pretty much, and then we can talk about them more. I did jump over our game because I didn't want to necessarily open up an old wound, but 2-1 Chelsea beat us at the Bridge. Estavio, 18 years, 163 days, is now the youngest Brazilian to score a Premier League winner. The 95th minute moment in front of the champions, who are obviously not too happy about that result, in a game where we led in XG until stoppage time, in a statement goal and a composure check for Chelsea's next wave, which is something that I could say. Newcastle game, I said it was 2-0 over Forest. Nick Waltermade became only the third Newcastle player to score in each of his first 3 Premier League home matches. Can you guess maybe who the other 2 he has joined by doing so? I'll give you a quick quiz note or a trivia note. 2 other players for, obviously he's the third Newcastle player, so 2 other players have done this. Can you name the other 2 Newcastle players that have done it?
Shearer.
Shearer's one. Yep.
Yeah, and the other one, Les Ferdinand.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could have been quiz night tonight.
Oh, well done.
And my prize is Liverpool beat Man United on Sunday. Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, there you go. That was a good one. I didn't know you were going to get that. That was a good one. 4 goals and 6 for the new man. What'd you say? I missed. Go ahead, Nalate. I didn't hear what you said.
No, I said, no, JK was saying present and Liverpool beat Man United, and I said Isak hat-trick, works, double assist. We all go.
Oh, there you go. I'll take that.
Yeah, let's from your lips to God's ears, right? As they say sometimes. Yeah. Brentford 0. City 1, I said earlier. Pep Guardiola hit 250 Premier League wins in 349 games. That's the fastest ever, leapfrogging the almighty Sir Alex Ferguson, who did it in 404 games. We obsess over Arsenal and Liverpool. City keep erasing historical milestones on a quiet Sunday, and that's what's annoying as F. Okay? That is not something I like to report or talk about. So I'm going to quickly move off of that one and move on to the Villa game versus Burnley. Morgan Rogers leads the Premier League in open play assists in 2025 with 8 assists this year. Morgan Rogers is doing his duty for Villa. Emery's men are 4 wins on the spin in all comps. The right wing balance with overlaps and third man runs is back for Morgan Rogers, who, let's be honest, Villa was looking very, very shaky at the beginning of the year. In that 1-1 draw for Brighton and Wolves, Brighton have now scored 12 own goals since the start of 2023. That's the most across Europe's top 5 leagues. I guess we have to. I guess their manager is going to have to tell them it's the other goal we're aiming for and not our own, because that's not what you want to have happen when it comes to having some type of record or some type of stat associated with your team. United's 2-0 win over Sunderland. United are now unbeaten in 25 league matches against newly promoted sides. That's pretty exceptional, actually. It's a floor stat, I get this, but they rarely sink below a certain level, but hopefully we'll see them sink into that relegation spot for their own one day. Fingers crossed. But yeah, 25 unbeaten. They're unbeaten in 25 league matches against Sunderland. Do you know how many wins they have out of those 25? Because draws obviously count as well in this stat. Would you guess?
13.
13? 13 draws? Okay. All right.
No,
Do you want to take a
wins.
guess? 13. Yeah. Okay. I get where you're going with that. Unlucky number. What is Nolante? You want to take a try? Armchair Supporter says 11 wins. Okay. You want to guess how many wins they have against unbeaten or against newly promoted sides in the last 25? Maybe not. Okay, maybe Nolante is still thinking about it, but the answer would be Desmond, 22.
Oh.
2-2. The old 22. That's a lot of wins. 22 wins out of 25 they have. All right, I only have 3 more stats to throw at you. So Tottenham finally ended a 7-game streak of losing right before international breaks. That's something. That's a real telling situation that you just can't get together before you go on international break. It's not fun to have. And then the Bournemouth game. This player is a player that I think has grown on a lot of us. Semenyo now has 12 Premier League goal involvements since May. That is more than anyone in that span of time. Bournemouth are 4th, 2 points off top. I guess you could say this isn't a fluke. It's repeatable chance creation through carries and cutbacks, and also a team that some thought would certainly dip in performance, considering their team was certainly rated by a lot of the bigger name teams. But Semenyo, as Red Armchair Supporter said, Semenyo is balling out for sure. So, and the last one, like I said, was the Everton game where it's his 300th appearance, and the likes. It is an accomplishment, certainly for him and his club. So I'm going to ask this: which of these hidden stats changes how you view a team's ceiling? Like, is it hearing that Saka's on form, or is it that that Everton has Pickford in the 300 club now, or is it the Semenyo thing? Or maybe it's Pep's 250th win? Which one of these stats makes you say like, oh wow, that stat says something to me? Do any of them? Yes, I know stats, but do any of them
I
say
think the
anything
Pep
to
one
you?
for me. Yeah, the Pep one. He beat Fergie. You know what I mean? Ferguson, one of the best managers ever, and he beat him to that 250 mark. Fair play.
How about for you, Nalante?
Pickford,
Okay, go ahead, JK.
I was going to say, like, Pickford staying at one club, even though he was like England #1, you would think he would have moved on to a bigger club than Everton, but he stayed with them, even though none of us like him.
Yeah.
He stayed there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a solid point. Okay, I just saw your private message, Nalante. I understand completely. All right, so I'll try to get your answers in quickly before you have to go on your ways. Is there any stat out there that really stood out to you? I'm with Hyler, by the way. I'm with Hyler, but go ahead. What was it for you? Oh, maybe not. I know Nalante's in transit right now, so maybe is unable to fully engage. I'm with Hyler. I'm not saying I was right about Semenyo. I never really said anything about Semenyo. Again, if Hyler, you said that, then big up. But any stat, and I see you're back, Nalante, any stat that really sticks out that makes that is really with you?
I like there's two. I like Saka. I mean, but Arsenal. Yeah, I do like Saka as a player, which is good. JK, but yeah, I guess I'm gonna focus on the Semenyo stat because he's come a long way. Bristol City. Yeah, he's come a long way. Bristol City, and obviously he's killing Bournemouth. And he played as a Ghanaian guy, as a Ghanaian man. You know, obviously he's helped us this week qualify for the World Cup. So yeah, man, Semenyo, yeah, he's doing bits. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens in the next 12 months with him. So yeah, quite good.
Quick follow up then, real quick follow up. Would you drop 75 M's for him right now in January?
No.
Okay. Just wondering. All right. Because that's apparently they're going to be giving him a new deal, and that's apparently the number that it's going to be his release clause is 75 M's.
Bournemouth asking apparently. So yeah, I mean we'll find out, but yeah, not for 75 mil. No.
Adam Wharton's supposed to have the same as Adam Wharton is supposed to be priced at the same as well. He's apparently going to they're looking to give Adam Wharton a new deal and give him a 75M release clause as well. So
and
for those
just
out
to touch on no, sorry, I'm just gonna say just to touch on that one, because I hear a lot of people and obviously say, you know, give Wharton, we can control the ball, he's a controller. He can get the ball from the fence and pass it to the attacking players, but it's not that. We need someone to defend. That's it. I think people forget that. It's like, oh, he's a controller. That's great. Thiago's a controller, but you know he's good in the way. But if you can't defend, if you don't have a DM to defend, then what's the point? And I think people just forget about the defensive aspect to intercept defensive aspects. You know, but people all about control the ball. We've got controllers, but they're not playing well. But yeah, if he does that and you can't defend, then it's no point. But I think people forget the defensive aspect of the team.
No point.
You know? But
absolutely
yeah.
On that. Absolutely agree. I think people overlook those simple things. They look at the grass is greener on the other side of the fence type situation where players playing in a different scenario when it comes to his responsibilities, the players he has around him, and and then they figure, oh well, we'll just put him in this and it'll automatically work. And it's like one of the situations where I'm just like, doesn't exactly work like that always, But sometimes it's difficult to kind of go against the grain. But some of us do on this channel, so that's why I was happy to see Nalante clock in. I was happy to see JK clock in as well. I was just going to say I agree with Nalante. The Semenyo thing is really, really intrigued me because he's a name that's kind of come out of nowhere as being the next big thing. And I know some might have already had him on his radar. I know Hyler is saying that he had him on his. And kudos to you, and I will acknowledge that. I'll give you props always. I'm all about giving props to people that do say what they need to say. When they get it right, you should get the praise. But also, again, I'm with Nolante on this one. The one thing I hate to say, but kudos to Saka. 100 games, 100 goals and assists at 24 is elite. What matters is how he got there, too. I mean, he's on Arsenal's right side. Rotations keep putting him on the penalty spot or into the far post lane, but with without any dip in real performances, other than obviously from injury. He is been exceptional. He occupies the half space. Saka gets either isolated or opt-in, or has opt-to-in runs. Add set-piece penalties, like I said earlier, and then you get a steady drip of contributions. Drip, 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 drip. And all of a sudden, the leap this year isn't tricks. It's decisional speed. So, he has less carry with the ball and quicker wall passes, earlier shots, and that's helping his club compete for this title. So, more power to Arsenal Saka. You know how difficult it is. I know I kind of feel like my heart seizing up saying some of this stuff. It's all good. It's all good. Trying to be as fair and balanced as possible. But all right, before Nolante has to go, and or even JK has to go as well. I don't know how long JK can stay with us or not, but I wanted to get into this, to what was asked of me earlier. And I saw an article. I did my own little deep dive into the article as well, and looking into some of the finer points of the statistics. And it was very, very intriguing what this article and what it actually brought out as intrigue, interesting intrigue, intriguing thought. And that was this. The 400-yard problem is this. We started the season with 7 straight wins across all comps. And then bang, we've had 3 defeats. You can feel the discourse that we've been engaging in tilting towards crisis, towards panic in some portions of our community. But if you strip away some of that emotional outtakes and anger and the likes, I think the picture is pretty clear. What has changed for our club? The fullbacks. And therefore, everything that really generated our offense. With no Trent Alexander-Arnold, but we have Milos Kerkez over Andy Robertson. We have Jeremy Frimpong, not yet truly integrated as well, by the way. And in moments, we have a right midfielder, if not a 10, a hybrid 10, if you want to call him that, but a right midfielder playing for us at right back more often than our own right backs. That cocktail has cost Liverpool roughly 400 progressive passing yards per 90. That's what the 400, these new players that we have integrated into our system, we have 400 less progressive passing yards in our offense. This is not a number on a spreadsheet. It's the oxygen line for our midfield and for our wingers. You take away those 400 yards, the ball progression burden shifts. All of a sudden, you have Konate. Konate stops seeing the diagonal fizz into the interior. You get less of VVD doing diagonals to Salah. He's forced long, or worse, he hesitates, meaning Konate, which is even worse because when you'll notice most of the time, teams are allowing Konate to be the directional leader when it comes to having the ball. And for what Red Armchair supporters saying too, yes, Gravenberch leaves central traffic to come help Kerkez in the side lane because Kerkez prefers to play inside rather than up the line, apparently now, or at least those are instructions. That vacates the middle, and Liverpool's entire defense gets stretched. You saw it in these last couple of games, especially. More high-value chances conceded. Only 2 clean sheets so far. 2 stoppage times, gut punches against our team in times that we should be concentrating on how or where the bus is going for the celebration party. And we've seen a version of this film before. Last season, when our number 66, I don't know if we want to mention his name anymore or not, his name that should not be mentioned, I guess now, right? When number 66 mistimed, Liverpool's passing network without him looked exactly like this. Salah was marooned on some island out there. The right side starved. The back line forced to carry the burden of recycling endlessly, back and forth, left and right passes. Go long to no one becomes the concept. Slot's trying to reroute the highway. We get that. But the cars are still turning into a cul-de-sac, if anything, rather than a highway going forward. So what do we do first? That's probably the question you're saying. What do any of these stats mean? All right. And I get that. So what we need to do first, in my humble opinion, is restabilize the fullback chemistry, asymmetry, I should say. One goes, one tucks in. Don't make both wings into racing lanes, not with the center back depth that we have. You have to look and figure out how to make that work. Rebuild the right side triangle. This is something I think is so important. Figure out who we're going to have as our right back and establish a right side triangle. Salah needs a high interior partner. If that's going to be Szoboszlai, I'm at the point where I'm saying, fine, let it be. But I'm just at the point of saying you have to find a solid and solidified choice for right back, not a right back placeholder. Or if you don't do that, you're going to have to pull Wirtz closer and rotate the 10 toward the right to reconnect it. My third last analysis is this. Give Konate short, confident options. People make fun of Endo's passing range and the amount of placement he can do. I will give Endo this. Endo is deliberate with his passing. He's quick. And he's assertive with where he wants to go with the ball. It's pass, 1, maybe 2 touches, and by the second touch, it's off his feet onto a playmaker. Konate needs to be the same because Konate's not the passing range of VVD. He looks jittery because the out ball has disappeared. You restore the wall pass into the right half space, and all of a sudden, you'll cut the turnovers in half. And yes, I know context matters. This is the last portion of what I have to say. The squad has experienced major change. I understand that. Rest in peace to our fallen red Jota, because passing cast a shadow no one can quantify. Jota was incredibly important for link-up play and what he did in that 9 role for us, dropping deep. Diaz as well. But the core tactical issue is simple. Remove 400 progressive yards from the fullbacks, and the whole orchestra goes off key. Put those yards back by role, if not by the same players, and your structure will start to breathe again. And that's my perception. So that's the 400-yard problem. I'm going to ask, Nolante's back with us. So before we lose him again, I'm going to ask him this question, and then I'll pivot to JK with another question. How does losing 400 progressive yards from the fullback reshape Liverpool's entire identity? Like, how do you not see the fact of how that can be losing all those progressive yards, not by carrying the ball forward, which is what we're relying on when we utilize Gravenberch, and he's been a a godsend since the fact of at least we have some form of progressing the ball forward. But can you not agree that is an issue? This 400 yards of lost progressive passing. Maybe. Nolante, you there? Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Hello?
you now.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. The 400. Look, I just think it's adaptability. I just think the fact that there's been a lot of changes this summer. Some of the players we've got a new spine in our team. And again, people want to say excuses or etc., which I get. But at the end of the day, when you have change, you're going to deal with things. They're different players. There's not a Nunez. There's not a Diaz. There's not a Sobo. I mean,
Right.
There is a Sobo, sorry, but he's played in a different way, with more different formation, more robust, more energy. As much as certain players didn't do certain things, but they gave more options. They gave running between channels, stuff like that. You got more of a technical team now. And it doesn't help at times. But again, this is all football. Football teams change. You have the adaptability, and this is what Slot's got to figure out. He has to have the balance that plays, and this is what I've been saying. Some players, if they have to be benched, they have to be benched. This is a squad game. We have to do what's right for the team. And I always say it's Liverpool FC. Now there's the whole Mo thing, and again, Mo's been our star player. And I'm not bothered about Mo, and I've said it at the start of the season. I'm not bothered about Mo's goals or assists this season. I don't care if he gets 9 Premier League goals and 8 assists. I don't really care. He's done enough for this club in terms of his goals and assists. All I care is about winning the league. But whether it's Mo or Cody, we have to. I just think Mo needs to be dropped because he's just from why he's not having no Cody. Like play Chiesa. Chiesa's hungry. He's starving. He's starving. It's like not giving me rice and chicken for the next week. I'm starving. Listen, you deny me. You deny my rights. Let him go because we need something different, and they're just out of form. So whoever's out of form, they need to, and then obviously Wirtz, he's been, left and right, and again, Wirtz, the performances have to be better. I mean, yes, he hasn't scored no goals and assists, which is very disappointing in 7 games. You would have thought we'd have that, but we haven't seen a 90 performance from Wirtz, So, and this is things Slot has to do. I do not want to see Sobo right back when you've got 2 right backs, because if you're taking 1 right back on the bench and you're putting Sobo right back, that's damning, I just want him. He made decisions whether we agreed it or not last season. He just needs to do the same this team, just a little tweaks. Let Grab sit. I mean, I know you said Grab is giving more freedom. We can't afford Grab to have more freedom because we've got too many players that are more forward thinking, So this is something he has to do, tweak. Let's see what happens for 2 weeks. And yeah, if he can do that, and Isak can get more into the game in terms of feeding him or just be more coherent, more touches like the we've seen it, the Atletico Madrid half, and we've seen the Everton first half. We've seen it, we can do it, but it's just getting the right balance and letting this team blossom. That's it, really.
Okay.
And plays in the positions as well. Yeah, big up Lee. And plays in the right positions. Yeah.
Absolutely. Playing players hybridly in other positions that they're not necessarily known for isn't exactly the ideal situation. And that maybe goes to my second question. Big up Lee, by the way, for joining us. I know that you're arriving a little late on possibly what the 400-yard progressive yard problem is that I'm talking about. Trying to bring an intellectual approach towards the conversation. So I know that might be a little bit too much for some out there, but it's all good. If you're not interested in, that's all good. It's all good. But for those that are, from what Nolante just said, is the solution purely personnel or more about tactical redistribution? Like I said, we have to figure out a different tactical strategy for this, or is it about the personnel just don't fit what the tactical sense of the tactical plan that we have?
I'm not sure it's like 100% either thing. I think a lot of it just comes from the fact that we've got so many new players bedding in. There's 5 big new players. I mean, you only have 10 outfield players, so that's half a bloody team. We're trying to get them all used to the team at the same time. And Arne has changed his tactics a little bit, probably in lieu of what's to come when these players settle in. Maybe he's done it too quickly, would be one point of view, that he's tried to change things a bit too quickly. Wait till the players are bedded in, settled, and then start farting around with things, doing it all at once. Maybe, I mean, we haven't looked great this season, even though we won all our opening games, 7 in a row. We didn't look good. We didn't have the control we had at times last season because we just let teams come straight back into games at us, and we managed to get that 1 win over Arsenal with the moment of magic, but the games weren't pretty, were they? Like, from a Liverpool fan's point of view, and obviously we were all buoyed up by the summer we'd had and we were expecting big things. But I think a few people have just forgot, that it takes players time to bed in. There are reasons, there are mitigating circumstances for these 3 losses. And I think the lion's share of the responsibility for these 3 losses is that we're just adjusting to having so many new players all at once.
Yeah, I saw. Go ahead, finish your thought.
No, I don't think Slot's necessarily getting things wrong. He just might be rushing things a bit for me. And that's okay. I mean, he's got the right to do that. The amount of credit he's got in the bank for what he did for this last season is huge. So if he wants to fart about with the tactics and the players' positions, he's within his rights to do that. I just hope there's less of it when we come back after the break and he has a more, he's looked at that hopefully, and he has a more settled idea in his head, for the upcoming, 7 games or whatever it is until we break again for internationals. But I think the 2 weeks away will done Arnie good. With the players being away and him being there just with his coaches, because obviously they'll have been talking it all through, and hopefully 2 weeks was long enough for them to get it right, and we can correct it, flip in form, and get back at it. I don't see as much wrong as some people are seeing. Some people are doubting Arnie, and I don't see that much wrong. Not enough wrong that we start talking about managers succeeding him. Give the guy a chance. Give the new guys a chance as well. On the
new guys, yeah. Well, there's a thing about it. There's a thing about it. I know I saw. Tyler D's little bit of a undercut by saying this is the most American analysis ever. I don't know what that exactly means. I guess it's another little stat or knock at Americans, but I think that the one thing that is sad is that numbers are not American. They're not English. They're universal. So it doesn't matter. There's no difference between numbers when it comes to no matter what country you're from. And the realization of the fact, and this is a question I'm going to pose to JK at least, is that this article that I was talking about, the perception of what I gained from the article by listening and then doing some of my own delving into some of the numbers as well. It's something of what some of us don't want to admit. Our offense has been not exactly as fluid as we would like for it to be. There hasn't been that fluidity that comes from the progression of playing out from the back. If you don't want to acknowledge that, the reason why I brought up the 400 progressive passing yards now being lessened and to that extent is simply the point of what I'm trying to bring out. We are now not passing the ball as progressively or as fluidly as we were before when we did have a Robbo or a Trent or even VVD taking more liberties or even also with Ali as well, getting the ball out and looking for those long ball passes that can actually be able to find their targets and accurately find their targets too. We're not just talking about this spray out passes, haphazardly. We're talking about actually having the range and accuracy that we did have when we did have a Trent or a Robbo passing it through. Now we have fullbacks that like to progress the ball on their feet as opposed to through the pass, and it's made a difference. Do you agree with that, or is that just again an American analysis, JK? Oh, if JK is with us, I see it's on mute. Well, Nalante, can you handle that one? I know. This is I don't know. JK is come back this yet. Can you take that one? At least.
Yeah, sorry, I missed a little bit of the question. What was it? Tom?
Okay. Basically, as in, do you acknowledge the fact that there is a difference with the loss of those progressive yards, those 400 progressive yards, and the way that we are able to achieve that amount of extra passing that is in our offense without it being a part of it? Can you at least acknowledge that maybe that could have some impact on our ability to go forward and control and ignite our offense?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, 100%. It has. And again, this is personnel. We have a different personnel in the front three, the midfield, and plus personnel, form, and tactics. It's all the three. And that's one thing we have to sort out. We have to adapt. Otherwise, it's going to be a long season, and there will be no, like I said, regardless, Sally, and obviously, and for certain players, there's an emotional standpoint for us fallen soldier. But again, regardless of that happen, we're not going to get any excuses. That's just the reality. We've got two 100 million players in our team. So if we don't win anything, there ain't going to be no excuses. There won't be excuses for me. So again, the players have to know, and Slot has to alternative, and this is what great managers do. They have to, when things are not going right, sometimes you change things. So the whole Salah being left, great. You have to alternative. You have to do tactics. I remember Conte. He done when Chelsea won the league under Conte. Then in the 4-3-3, they got battered by Arsenal 3-0, and he changed it. He said, "You know what? This ain't working. 3-5-2, and they won the league." So Slot, he just has to be harsh in certain things, because obviously I'm hungry. I want that back to back, and I don't care if we get injuries, etc. I'm looking for that back to back. So we're going to see what these players are made of on Sunday. We're going to see what Slot has done during the break. So we just have. So for me, it's personnel, tactics, and form all rolled into one.
KJ, big up KJ in the house. We must, no excuses. I agree. I'm going to give you guys something that me and Alante have spoken about. I shared this with Lee. I don't think I got a chance to share this with JK or not just yet, but I'm going to share this with you. Okay. So, in my opinion, I think if we want control without blunting the strike force, I think the most natural base right now is to go back to the 90s, I guess. One of the best eras. I might be partial to that, but I think and go back into a case where we incorporate a 4-4-2 diamond. I'm going to bring guys to the shape lab, basically, okay? This is the shape lab for our formations. Now, we can all have our different takes. We can all have our different interpretations and the likes. Allow for you all to put your 2 cents in to what I have definitely put together for this shape lab. But, for me, I'm thinking that a formation change could work with the personnel that we have. 4-4-2 diamond with the ability to morph into a 4-2-4 on cue. And for certain opponents, we can always go back to a 4-3-2-1. I understand that. But I'm going to say like this. I'll bring up the idea of what I'm looking at here. And this is only because of injuries, by the way, too. If Ali was fully fit, we'd have obviously Mamardashvili not in the role of a goalkeeper. But for right now, I put him in as our goalkeeper simply because Ali's not capable of being, he's not available. But you can see it. Ali, Bradley, Gomez, VVD, Robbo, Grav at the base, have Szoboszlai on the right. Jones, you could have McAllister there. Could be an argument for that, but I'm going with Jones on the left. Verts at the 10, Eke, TK, and Isak up on top. Now, why a diamond? Some people might ask. Verts is our scalpel, as in if we're going to perform surgery on our teams, I say he steals half seconds between the lines, like as in two strikers pin center backs back because they have now two center backs that they have to concentrate on. The 8s would obviously sit in the half spaces, and your 10 gets consistent half turn receipts into that, what they call the zone 14. Okay. In a 4-3-3, he's either too wide or too deep. In a diamond, he's right in that hub. Two forwards, one is better than one isolated 9, in my opinion. Isak is the reference, wall passes, angles, penalty box craft. Eke is the disorder, runs across, shoulders, far post charges, long presses. Together, they pull a spare midfielder deeper. That's oxygen for Verts and Szoboszlai to do their thing. Width by design, Bradley, Robertson. I know some might have Kirkes in that role, but for me, I would like to see Robertson get that role. Eventually working Kirkes into that fold, but for right now, Robbo is my guy. Bradley is my guy also on the right. When they go, the weak side 8 tucks, Gravenberch screens, Gomez and Van Dijk slide. It's structured risk rather than helter-skelter for me. And then the other 2 points I would say is cleaner pressing traps. Front 2 show outside, Verts jumps the pivot, jumps into the pivot's blind side. You have 8s sitting on interiors. We can funnel to the touch line, which will be immensely important for us to try to get some width towards our attack. The diamond creates a natural L shape for traps. 2 pressure lines and the sideline as your third defender. That's what we need to find out if our counter press is ever going to come back, because our counter press is poo-poo at the moment. And it fixes the spacing, in my opinion. True vertical stagger, 6 beneath, 2 8s on offset lines. The 10 at the top, you obviously it's in essence still a 4-3-3 in essence, if you want to look at it that way, but it does create a box midfield for us to allow for us to have pressure and also provide passing lines. And I know some are going to push back about Grav being in the 6. He's not a DM. All right, let me get into this, all right, real quick. He's not a classic destroyer. However, he is, however, a modern base. And what I mean by a modern base is he's press resistant. Tell me he's not. Receives under heat, rolls, carries, instantly connects to Verts. Boom, boom, done. He has range, can punch flat splits to Eke, or maybe even bounce the ball into Isak's feet. Boom, boom, done. And athletic screening, delays transitions, is the top interceptor in the game when it comes to cutting off passing lanes. So he will be very good in those retributes. The safeguards are the right side has Bradley, who can go high. Gomez can step into that 6th lane if necessary, because he has the ability to play defense and the ability to pass. So if he steps into that 6th lane to form a 3-2 rest defense, which is Gomez, Virgil, Robbo, behind Gravenberch, you have a weak side 8. And then versus elite 10s, which is very rare, you can have a temporary double pivot moments where Szoboszlai can drop alongside Gravenberch in the build. Verts stays high to pin the opposition 6. It's, in my sense, smart. I think it's smart because it's more of like these game state situations. And I do have more, but before I totally talk you out of listening to what else I have to say. I'm going to ask, just for right now, on this 4-4-2 that I have, do any of you have issues with this 4-4-2? And if you do, who would you replace? Or if you have issues with the 4-4-2 in general, what would you prefer to see? And I'll start with JK to start us off.
Like there's a bit of width missing. Like Szoboszlai could bomb down the right wing and cross the ball in, no problem about that. But I just feel I like the formation. I actually like the team. I'll probably put Frimpong in for Bradley and play Salah for Curtis. Yeah, that's what I'd do if I was going to play a 4-4-2. Thing is, then where would you play Szoboszlai? Which you'd have to play on the left. You know what I mean? So Salah on the right of where Szoboszlai is. And then, yeah, but just to see them two up top, love to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Two strikers on the pitch at the same time. Ooh. 1990s again.
Yeah. You know, it's like bringing back the 90s. Great golden era of hip hop once again. Here we go.
Yep.
Let's get it going.
Here
we go. You know, I just watched the Tupac story. So yeah, got Biggie and Tupac up the front. That'd be perfect. I'll go with Malante. I know you're short on time. Any issues? Any problems with this?
It's a good idea. I think, like JK said, the width, but I don't mind. I think if you're playing a diamond, Sobo and Jones are right because they can cover certain areas. They can work. I mean, more Sobo track back, but again, I think it's the width. I mean, you would need Bradley and Robertson to really bomb in, and obviously Sobo to crosses. And it will potentially work, but I wouldn't play that in all games.
No, I did say 2-3-1 for certain opponents. I did say
but I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, to do that, it'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see. So if we're doing a 4-4-2 like that for right now, I have no complaints. No complaints. Wise.
Is it maybe the Jones? I know that Jones for some is a little bit of a controversial player to be starting possibly, especially over Mac. And this is just for now, obviously, because Mamardashvili isn't our starting goalkeeper. He's just our active goalkeeper at the moment. You know, if Ali was fully fit, we might have him in there, or not might. We would certainly have him in there. But I was gonna say, but but you could also give the argument that McAllister isn't fully fit, so that's the reason why I'm leaning towards Jones playing in this role. Is this too crazy for you, Lee? Are you comfortable with Jones in this role?
Yeah, because he's got legs and McAllister hasn't. If we were playing that way, it's less about getting down the wings, isn't it, and crossing it, more through building it up centrally through Gravenberch and Wirtz, and obviously Szoboszlai and Jones would try and help them create from in that midfield. But Szoboszlai and Jones have also got legs, haven't they, to do all the donkey work on the flanks and try and protect the full-backs a bit more. Because against the 4-3-3, with one in the middle and one either side, and then, a three in midfield, we would get outnumbered, wouldn't we, on the flanks, probably from time to time. So, it could work. It could definitely work, I think. I'd like to see it at some point, actually.
I'd like to see it. Experiment with it maybe once or twice. See if it actually works.
Yeah, I mean, if certain teams, if he could have a horses for courses thing, and identify a couple of teams he thinks that formation could work against, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
I think you would possibly see some of the most, and I know for some it's like I'm surprised I didn't hear anyone really, and this shows how poor his form is currently. No one brought up the fact that a certain Egyptian is not in this
Well,
lineup.
do you know what? You took that right out of my mouth. I was about to say, in this formation, you could have either of Alexander or Ekitike, on that right-hand side, and have Mo on the right-hand side where Isak is, and Isak or Ekitike on that left-hand side coming in. So Mo could easily be fitted in as, a forward in that formation.
Oh, so you would have him as one of the you would substitute Ekitike or Isak.
Yeah, I'd try him with one or the with one of them two, one or the other of them two in that formation. It's also an option. Chiesa would be an option as well in that situation. Yeah.
Interesting. I thought I was gonna get more flack for not having Salah in there. I didn't expect that many people to hit me up over not having Cody in the lineup, even though Cody's my guy. So I mean, I was surprised about that. I mean, I always thought that too. If you're talking about like game states, and the likes, if we're trying to protect the lead or something like that, we can always bring in Endo at that DM, and we could push Grab up to one of those 8s. Since everyone so loves reminiscing about Grab being an 8, we can just push him up to one of those 8 roles, and all of a sudden, you have Endo and as that true destroyer, and then you can have Grab in one of the right or left spots, whichever you prefer, as being the 8. And before everyone also says, because I know some people are like, well, how do we press with this? How do we get the width that you're just talking about and the likes? Well, I think what's unique about this scenario of trying to do a 4-4-2 diamond, we could have it morph into a 4-2-4, which we have seen our team do before. And that means like on the ball, Bradley tucks in, Robbo advances, Szoboszlai steps in high right, or it looks like a right winger in essence, Jones or Maka. I wouldn't want to see Maka as that left winger, but we have seen Jones play on as a left winger before. Or you could bring in a Cody Hackbo if you want, who can play technically, can play in the midfield, but is more of a winger for us. And then all of a sudden you have Vert Central of Isak 9, Ekitike drifting left to central, second striker. This could work, people. I'm telling you, this could work. I mean, you could press high to 4-2-4 and then drop into a 4-4-2 mid block. Have Verts next to Isak, Ekitike and Szoboszlai become the screens. There's a lot of different things that we could do. And I did say 4-2-3-1 is selected opponents we could utilize that against as well. I'm not trying to say this, throw the baby out with the bathwater, I think they call it, or something like that. It has worked for us before. That would bring Salah and bring, obviously, Cody fully back into the profiles. You would also, utilize different versions of it moving and forming to what it can be. But I just think that one of the biggest objections is two strikers leaves us light. I've come up with some objections. You can either weigh in to say that's your thoughts, or maybe I'm stealing your thunder for your objections. But the objections that I was prepared to tackle were these: 2 strikers leave us light. The 8s are real the 8s are real mids, and the 10s defend on a string. So out of possession, you're in a 4-4-2 if needed. It's a kind of like a 4-5-1 sometimes as well, if you have the 10 drop back to provide extra emphasis towards that midfield. So I don't know exactly agree. And you could do maybe what Lee suggested, which is use other players in those roles. Use a Chiesa in up as one of the 9s, or maybe use a Salah as a 9 for them. We'll miss our wingers. I don't think we will. I think you choose when the present winger width via the 4-2-4 morph will create it. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why I said 4-4-2 that morphs into a 4-2-4 if and when we press. The transitions. where will be our transitions? Our rest defense is a 3-2. If teams target Bradley's channel, Gomez is the player that's going to put out that fire. The Szoboszlai back presses the inside lane. I think we don't have any issues. And then you'll say set pieces. I like the idea of we will be fine with Virgil and Gomez. I think that we'll be fine with how Szoboszlai Rabo deliver on our set pieces, or maybe even if you don't have Dom, I personally would love to see Virgil be a part of our set pieces, our set piece attack, but that part is a little bit too far-fetched. So don't worry, I'm not going to push heavily for that one. I just think bottom line 4-4-2 fits our current personnel. I think our highest ceiling is Verts. He's a player that I'm going to emphasize. I've been emphasizing before, and I'll continue to emphasize now. And in another episode that I have coming up, he is what Trent was to Klopp. I think Verts needs to be a slot. And what I mean by that is we focused on functioning our offense around Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think that we should look to do the same around Florian. I'll ask you this question before we move on to the segment. Do you believe that this could work better than a 4-2-3-1, or do you think that this is just an alternative, an option that you'd want to go to? Like, as in, what's your opinion? I hear JK just get ready to rock and roll. What's your opinion?
I would say it would be an option. If the score's 1-0, 25 minutes left, you could do up top like that. You know what I mean? I think it's I would love to see it, bro, on Sunday, for example. Just test it out for half an hour. I don't know. Something different, We're all new players. Yeah, I'd love to see it.
I think it'd be the perfect time to see it too, by the way. Because I will tell you this, Manchester United will be ill-prepared to take on a 4-4-2, thinking that we're going to be coming out in a 4-2-3-1.
4-3-3, yeah.
Or even a 4-3-3. I think they will not know what to do. Anfield screaming at their backs. Oh, my goodness. It'll be something. All right. Well, I guess tell me what you think in the comments. I'm sure I'll get a few comments talking about their ideas, what they think. If you have a different solution plan, tell us. It's all about engaging in discourse, okay? That's what it all is all about, Be respectful. I'll be respectful too, and we just do our best to have a conversation. These next little sections. I'll give a quick shout to Pep Guardiola. We spoke about him before. He finally did 49, an incredible accomplishment. Big up to him. But we're now going. I'm gonna skip over that because I had a little bit more, but I don't really care that much because I'm not a citizen. I am a red. So let's just talk about this post-international break. There is a post-international break power index that came out, and it's since October 2020 they've created this power index. The first game after the break only. Okay, so there is a table of truth for the match immediately after the international breaks over the past 5 years. Who would you think would be in the top 5 for productivity or success in that first game? Who would you think would be the first the top 5? You can just shout them out. You don't have to. There's no order amongst the panel. You can all just say what you need to say. Or say the team that you think it is. 5 teams. Who do you think is the top 5? And then I'll ask you who. And then I'm going to ask you who you think is the bottom 3. Top 5 are who?
Arsenal.
Chelsea.
You say Arsenal?
Yeah.
Wait. Chelsea, Arsenal. Okay, so
Liverpool.
2 strikes. You already have 2 strikes.
Man City. Oh, I thought you were asking us who you thought would finish in the top 5.
Who are the top? As in, for this power index, the table is this: the international break, the first game after the international break. This table, this power table index, or whatever you want to call it, has been monitoring teams' first game after the international break since October of 2020. Okay. So they've been compiling these figures over the last 5-6 years. Or 5 years. So, or technically 6, I guess, 5 or 6, whatever. But who do you think is the top 5 in performances? Red Armchair Supporter has the number 1, for instance. Manchester City is exceptional when it comes to their they are 19 played, they're 15-2-2. Once they get out of the first game after their international break, they've played 19 times and they've won 15 of those games. They've had 2 draws in those games and 2 losses. They've only lost twice since it. Who do you think is 2, number 3, number 4, number 5? That's right.
Are Everton in it?
They are not. They are not.
Spurs?
Spurs are.
Okay.
Spurs round out the top 4.
Nottingham Forest?
No. Spurs have a better. Spurs round out the top 4. They just beat out Sunderland and Arsenal, for instance, on points, but they edge it out on goal differential. They're the same on points, but goal differential.
Bournemouth in the top 5 at all, are they? Bournemouth?
No. I'll just give it to you. Liverpool are surprisingly in the top 4.
Okay.
I know a lot of people think that we're terrible. We might have terrible performances per se, but for some way and somehow, we're 14 wins, 3 draws, and 2 losses. 45 points, 44 goals. Yep. 45 points and 44 goals is the most in the span. 4 straight wins in these fixtures, by the way. 4 straight wins in these fixtures. Aston Villa, 10 unbeaten headed into this window. And Newcastle, this is some other notes at least. Newcastle split is wild. They're winless in their first 7, but then 10 wins in their next 12 games they've had. So they've really picked it up as of late. The bottom 3, one of the teams you mentioned, which was Everton, they have 17 points in 19. Just 1 win in their last 11 post-break matches. Although 1 loss in the last 4 hints at a nudge upward, it still says something about Everton. Palace, 9-game winless run after the break. That's something that should be interesting going into this international break for Palace, considering they did just have that loss that they just sustained, and now they're coming into an international break where normally they don't do well. And then finally, Brentford. Brentford have no wins in 7 such matches, despite a positive goal differential. They still have no wins in 7. So, are your expectations for this upcoming post-international break? What are your expectations? Let's just say it like that, Lee. What are your expectations for Liverpool at least? I'm not talking about the league. I'm just talking about just for our club.
That we beat Man United by hook or by crook and get back on track.
Same
That's my
as
expectation. Yeah.
United.
Are you looking for a
forward to this game? Mm-hmm. Yeah, big statement game.
Are you looking for a statement win, like 4-0, something like that, or is it more like as long as we win, it doesn't matter what our form looks like. I just want to win.
A good display wouldn't go missing, bro. You know what I mean? We ain't been playing great, and I think the game at at Anfield against United, hopefully we'll play some nice football as well. Most important thing is the win. You know what I mean? Playing well, getting that win is the bonus.
Okay. It is unique because,
I have to shoot, bro.
What?
I have
you have to shoot?
bro.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm going as well. Yeah,
take care, bro.
Okay. I'm going as well.
Bye.
Yes. All right.
Bye,
Big up. Have fun at work, Nolante, and definitely JK. I don't know if you're going to work or not.
I'll catch you guys
enjoy
tomorrow.
your rest of the evenings for sure.
Night, odds.
Yeah, big up the chat. Big up. No. Peace.
Well, they're missing out on the opportunity to talk about Manchester United, which is what the next topic was. And you know what's wild about United is they're trying to get into this whole thing about being able to be the underdogs, but being able to still say, well, if we win, it's great. If we lose, who cares? That's basically because we're supposed to lose, And United have been dramatic. 3 league defeats, Carabao exit to Grimsby. But then these counter examples, they have 3 league wins, all at Old Trafford. And yet the underlying story is consistent. They shoot a lot. They have about 14 attempts per 90, but too many from low probability locations on the pitch. Volume speaks late while chasing. Quality is scarce in a sense. The headline says highest XG in the league. That's what the headline reads when you talk about Manchester United. But if you read the fine print, it should read lowest quality distribution. I'll give you 2 case studies, okay? Fulham and Brentford, 2 Bruno Fernandes, as I think how he pronounces it, right? Penalties missed, about 0.76 XG gone. Against Brentford, a fat chunk of their XG comes from one sequence where Sesko takes 3 chances, 3 bites at the same chance. The number looks big. The control wasn't. If you want to talk about stats and eye tests and all that, against Arsenal, United posted a 1.6 XG to Arsenal's 0.9. From 18 shots, only 7 of those shots were inside the box. And out of those 7, 5 of those were after the 70th minute. It's the shape of a chase, not a plan, really, for those guys. Away from home, they don't craft even remotely the same output that they do at home. The system's rigid. The best chances come from either penalties or chaos. When your best opponent versus City is Casemiro missing from an open net at 3-0 down, you're dealing in hypotheticals, not habits. So should they be higher in the table? I'm not really going to say this out loud, but maybe I'd give them a point, maybe 2. The Pens go in. But broadly, this is who they are right now. If you're underperforming your XG because your shot diet is poor and your best looks arrive in desperation time, the fix isn't luck. It's structure and profiles. That's some stuff you learn on the training pitch. I'll ask you this, Lee. Are United's attacking struggles more about shot quality or maybe like some structural imbalance amongst their team with the components that they have, like the players that they're using? What do you think is United's problem?
Well, their strikers have got a bed in as well. Like Sesko's like doing his best, isn't he? And Cunha and Mbuemo. We will have to watch them in this game. Like, I'm sure Amarim's got a plan, like, to try and, cause us problems. because we haven't been great at the back, so we've been looking at that, obviously. But it's up to Slot to have, outthought him and make sure that doesn't happen, that their forwards are more in the game than ours and have a bigger say in the result than ours do. We've just got to be on it defensively, as well as in attack. But
can Amarin fix this? Can he fix it? Do you think Amarin can fix this, or or are we just watching him hold on by a thread with this team?
We're watching him hold on, and he could make them better. I don't think he could take them to the title. I don't think he could ever make them real title contenders, but he can make them better than they are, and I'm okay with that. As long as they're still also runs, I'm okay with that. He hasn't had a full season yet, has he? Come halfway through last. Well, he come at Christmas or something, didn't he? New Year last season. That's halfway, really. Or was it? Oh no, it was before. It was October, wasn't it? So he had about I don't know 2/3 of the season, or something. But yeah, he hasn't had his full season yet, has he? To implement his system. A lot of their fans don't like it and want him to go because they don't like the system. I don't like it. I don't like 3 at the back, like never did. When Liverpool has it, like it was rubbish. So, it's not a system I like. It's a defensive system, isn't it? At the end of the day, 3 at the back, 3 centre halves and wing backs. I think it'll be a tough game. I'm not expecting us to roll them over easily, but I am expecting us to win. I think we're good enough to beat these on Sunday, and hopefully we will. And then I want us to use it as a springboard. We go away to Frankfurt, don't we? Then we go away to Brentford, and hopefully beating United will give us the edge in Germany and in London as well in them subsequent 2 games after United.
I'll give you something, and this is a little bit of interesting intrigue. Okay, there was this particular segment on, I believe it was on Sky Sports, and they did something where they brought up this comparison. They brought up the comparison of Amarin. I mean, I'll make this full screen so that maybe you can see it better. Let me see if I can do that. So they made the comparison of Amarin and Arteta because they've now played the same amount of over the same span, at least. Okay, and they viewed the look of each. And as you can see, Amarin has 19 games won to 27 for Arteta. A lot. He's had 6 more games lost, but the goals scored about the same. Goals conceded. A little bit, obviously, not a little bit, but certainly more of a defensive structure when it comes to Arteta than Amarin. And that's exactly what you're just saying is what's interesting is that back 3 is more of a defensive-minded back, having 3 center halves, you think is more defensively astute at keeping better numbers when it comes to holding out goals, but it's not, apparently. I've seen some takes on this, and they've been very, what's the word I'm looking for some of the content creators out there, especially the Arsenal content creators out there, they've been very, very angry with the fact that someone would ever compare Amarin to Arteta. What is it with this that would make you say it? I'm only bringing this up primarily because I remember specifically there have been numerous, during the Klopp era, there were numerous times that Arsenal fans would take Arteta and try to compare his record or achievements to Klopp. And it would make you go, what are you doing? At least myself. Well, I would say, what are you doing? This is embarrassing. Stop. But they would continue to roll it out, continue to try to make the declaration that Arteta was even in the same league as Klopp.
Mm.
And now that that this era has changed, and now that Amarin is being used as Arteta is being used against Amarin, now all of a sudden they're like, how dare you? How dare you take Amarin and try to compare him against Arteta? I don't know. I think it's I think Amarin versus Arteta is possibly a little bit closer to being an accurate analysis of comparison when it comes to coaches. I don't know. Do you think? What are your thoughts on this comparison and what they're trying to do?
I don't really see one between Amarin and Arteta that much like a comparison.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope you don't see one between Arteta and Klopp, though.
No, yeah, Klopp as well. Like no comparison between Arteta and Klopp. Yeah, the three of them are complete strangers, really, as managers, aren't they? They're very different, all three of them.
Mm-hmm. Slot favorite is himself. Okay, KJ saying he agrees. I don't know if he's agreeing with what I had to say or not, but I just thought it was funny. I've seen some people some people really get aggravated about Sky Sports bringing this up, and they went more in depth into it. It wasn't just a random graphic and that's it. They had a whole segment breaking down why Amarin is comparable. It's just interesting. Are you okay, I got what you're saying. I was saying, but do you see what I'm also saying about the Manchester United, or excuse me, Manchester? Because we saw that clip, and I saw Egal, and there are other Artetaites, I guess. I don't know what they are called. Arteta lovers or Arteta sexuals. I don't whatever it's called. That are out there, the people that are very, very pro Arteta, that that have gone as far as to say that there wasn't, for instance, they were to say, oh, there was never a Pep Klopp error. It was never a Pep Klopp error simply because of Pep's dominance. I'll admit, Pep was dominant in winning the league and winning that major trophy. But the unique thing about the Pep and Klopp era was the fact that throughout that entire era, minus maybe one, Liverpool league trophies. And not only did we get trophies, I've seen people go as far as to like dismiss and belittle Klopp's accomplishments by saying he's only won one Premier League title. And they conveniently forget that he won a Champions League. They conveniently forget that he was a part of 3 straight Champions League finals. But then they'll have the audacity to say, let's compare Klopp versus Arteta. And then not see the irony of when someone will say, let's compare Amarin versus Arteta. That was my whole point. maybe I'm getting too much onto it. I don't know. I don't think it doesn't seem like I don't know if my co-host here wants to embark on that conversation.
Yeah, I'll leave that one there.
maybe not. Lee? All right. Well, let's move on real quick then. Let's move on. We can maybe bring it up another day. But let's move on to this. Look, we've spoken about Newcastle and Walter-Mate. We talked about Semenyo. We talked about Brighton and their own goals. We've talked about Spurs and how they need to continue to push forward. Do you think Spurs are a real? Do you think Spurs are going to contend in? I don't think I'm not going to say they're going to contend in the Champions League, but do you think that Spurs are really going to be something of a contender when it comes to picking up a trophy this year?
Probably not a trophy, because they're in the Champions League. Can't even see them winning a domestic cup, to be honest. It's possible, but I think they'll finish, high. I think they'll finish in the Champions League positions, because last season they were miles off it, weren't they, and qualified through the back door with winning the Europa League. But no, I don't really see them winning anything. They could, though. He might get them a domestic trophy, but they're not going to win the league or the Champions League. And they haven't won a domestic trophy for a long time either. But I do see them getting better. I just don't see them winning trophies. But I see Thomas Frank improving them, because he looks to have done that already. Although they've suffered a couple of defeats, he looks to have done that already, improved them. And obviously they'll get better with time the longer he's been there, probably.
Okay. KJ thinks the opposite. He thinks that they're going to contend for a domestic cup this season.
Well, he might do, yeah. Spurs used to be a really good FA Cup team.
I think Thomas Frank could look at it as being, I think he will put heavy emphasis on trying to perform in both of those in the League Cup and in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to win an FA Cup, but I definitely think that they're going to put an effort into trying to win a domestic cup this year.
Yeah.
Despite having, to worry about trying to perform in Europe, which is a huge deal for them this year. Did you want to say something else, Lee?
I think in the domestic cups, obviously City are playing a bit better now than last season, and Guardiola, if you can't have the league or the Champions League, we want to get at least one of the domestic cups. But I think Spurs could have a good go at winning a domestic cup. They will be better, though, anyway. As I said, I'm expecting them to be better under Frank. They can't be a lot worse than they were under Ange league-wise. Because there was shit under Ange last season in the league, mate. I mean, they finished below United even, which is saying something, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right down there.
That is very, very. Well, let me talk about something about our team before this. This will be the last segment here. Obviously, I said I give a preview of the preview. So my only preview of the preview is the injury watch and selection watch, basically, which has got Liverpool having, obviously, Ali is out for a few weeks with that hamstring. We all know that Giovanni Leone is out with that serious knee injury that he sustained last month. He'll be out for the season for the most part. I think it's a safe bet to say that we won't risk bringing him back in towards the end of the season. Konate came off at Chelsea and then left the French camp with a thigh issue. And then we have Gravenberch was subbed at half for the Netherlands. Reports saying a hamstring tightness, precautionary by all accounts is what is being reported. I know that it has gotten back or has gotten out from his camp, Gravenberg's camp, that it is just that. It's nothing more than just precautionary, and the fact that they were up in that game and there was no reason to press or push the issue. Endo didn't travel with Japan. His injury was unspecified. That's a lot of Jenga blocks, you could say, for one back five and the base of a midfield. But for United, they are near a full complement. This returning situation has Mazra, right, who missed the last match but could be available. Martinez is back in. The vegan butcher is back in training after his ACL. If he gets any minutes, it's expected to be managed minutes, but we might have a vegan butcher sighting at Anfield. Who knows? But if Konate can't go, I'm gonna ask you this question: do you trust Gomez with Virgil? Do you trust Virgil? Do you trust Gomez to hold it down if Gomez or if Konate can't go, Lee?
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah, he'll be able to do it for a reasonable amount of time. I don't think we can expect him to play months on end without coming out the team, but he can definitely step in and play some games. Hopefully, try and get him up to his maximum and all that, and then just gauge how long we could keep him in the team for. Because I don't think his body will take it, if he was first choice every game for 3 months or something, 4 months. I'm not sure if his body can take it,
concerning.
Given the evidence of last season.
That's concerning. I mean, if anything, for any player, you want to be able to have the confidence to know that you can, whether it's for our team or not. I mean, if you say that about Gomez and hypothetically saying it's true, then what could be the issue with that is what team is going to say that, what team is going to go as far as to say, okay, yeah, let's take a run on Gomez. I mean, if you can't even hold down, a real starting role. But if Gravenberg is managed, would you, if I see that's the things that Endo's not necessarily fit himself, possibly. I'd have to learn more about what Endo is going on with him before you say you hand the base to Endo for him to have to manage minutes with Gravenberg and trying to hold it down. Some people don't have Wirtz starting. Would you have Wirtz start for you, by the way, against United? Would you start Wirtz?
Yeah, I'd be starting him, yeah.
Okay.
Not dropping him for this one, though.
Some people had Wirtz being benched for this game. They had Dom as as the 10. They had Jones being one of the pivots that would be involved in this game, along with Gravenberg, actually, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Would you be comfortable with a midfield of Grav, Dom, and Jones? I'm not saying where they'll play, but I'm just saying if they were your midfield, would you be confident with them?
Against United, don't see why not. But they'd all have to be on it. Curtis would have to be on it, as Ryan's partner and in the pivot, and then Dom in the 10. But personally, I prefer it to be Gavin Bates, McAllister and Wirtz against United. Play our best today and just hope that, we win, basically, by hook or by crook. I'm not asked about a statement win, as you mentioned earlier, about the results against United. I just want the points and I want that win to then, be a springboard for us to the rest of the games in this little run until the November break. Because we badly need it. We have to, really, because we will fall behind. If we drop points here, we're going to fall further behind. It's
If
bad
there was
enough.
one player
People are
that
writing
you
us off already at the moment, 1 point behind. So if we drop another 2 or possibly even
Yeah.
another 3 on Sunday,
Yeah.
it's gonna, we're making it hard for ourselves.
If there was one player that you would like to see have a breakout performance, what player would you think is the player that you'd like to see? Because there are some players that are aching to have that. You could say Salah, you could say Verts, you could say Isak, you could
It'd be
say
Verts for me.
Ibu. Who?
Yeah, it'd be Verts for me. I'd love to see him have a breakout performance, like, and pull the strings, so people can see it's him that's pulling the strings, and it's picked
Okay.
up by the commentators. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see.
Okay. In the comments, definitely tell us who you would like to see. Who is your must-see breakout performer, or the player you'd like to see be the breakout performance player? Because there's some players. I mean, KJ saying Mo for him. He's sick of this narrative that he's done. Exactly, KJ. Exactly. That is a false narrative. That's a false narrative at best. But Verts is a healthy candidate too. Hey, some could say, let's see Isak, break into that high octane level striker that we all want him to perform at. Some could be saying, hey, maybe it's Kirkez or maybe it's McAllister. It could be louder. Frimpong is KJ's second choice. I got you, brother. I got you. All right. Well, I'm gonna say this. We're 15 minutes over 90, our normal 90. But we've talked about quite a few things today. I know that there's a lot to unpack. I'd love to hear what your take on my 442 diamond is. I'd love to hear your take on my 400, not 300 like the movie. Maybe we can call it the 400 for us, with us needing to figure out how to get those progressive passing yards back involved, or have an alternative route towards producing that kind of offense for our team. Tell me if you think United is just that. Do you think United is an underdog really in this game? Or are derbies true equalizers in the sense of, one year we pipe them 7-0, and then the very next year we play them at Anfield, we draw with them 0-0. What are your thoughts? And Trap Joe saying he really needs to see Salah and Verts have chemistry. That would be fantastic to see. Definitely fantastic to see. By the way, the 4-4-2 that I suggested, I don't think is going to be is not going to be the formation that we go with in this upcoming game. It's one I'd like to see us perform at, but it's not the one I think we're going to embark on in this game coming up. We will have a Manchester United preview. Most likely do that on Saturday. And we also I still have actually a couple other episodes to knock out for you that should be of interest, where I get into a little bit more of the tactics and the stats and the viewpoints that so many of you just love to hear. But before we bounce out, Lee, anything on your mind? Anything you want to say? Anything from today's episode you want to reemphasize, or anything you want to say to the people?
No, I just hope we get a good result on Sunday. Focused on that now. Hoping that the 2-week break is give Arnie time enough to think and to get it right. What he wants to do to beat United, and we'll take it a step at a time. Hopefully, beating these will lead on to a win and run. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Okay, makes sense. It totally makes sense. People, please leave a comment. If you haven't hit the like, please hit the like as well. Share this with others, even if they don't watch it routinely, just allow for them, just encourage them to just hit the subscribe button. Be nice to have it continue to build on this narrative that we can talk about football and enjoy the presence of our fellow Reds in the community that might not always have the same opinions, but at least it is spurring on some very interesting debates and some interesting conversations. I'm going to tomorrow get into some of exactly that, some of the insights and takes that have been kind of unfolding in the last 2 weeks. People have noticed the difference in discourse and the route of YouTube in general when it comes to content creation. So we're going to get into that tomorrow, along with some other stuff that's going to be fun. But until tomorrow, please take care of yourselves. Continue to look after your loved ones in your lives, because those are important things. Life is precious, and we all wish you well and health. So until tomorrow, up the Reds as always, and we'll see you then. Take care, guys.